instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Coming through.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if they can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight, we're going across the pond to one of the most notoriously haunted castles in the UK, the one and only Chillingham Castle.
Yes, sir.
Chillingham.
Has to say Chillingham. If you say Chillingham, you're no.
You're not invited to the picnic.
Yeah, you're not a paranormal 1%er if you say Chillingham.
Yeah, man. Chillingham Castle, or as you know, as the whites say in America, Chillingham.
Right. Or as I said the first time we watched the show about it, Scaryham, because I thought it was the stupidest name I ever heard.
Scaryham Castle. All right, yeah. So we this is one of the ones we've talked about it before in haunted castles, and we figured let's do a deep dive on it and have some fun. Have some fun here, as we are wont to do here at Other Dangerous Podcast.
Talking about some British bugaboos.
Yeah, right, right. That's what we like to do.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into Scaryham Castle, I will be bringing you guys tonight's jump scare. All right, Ken, good work. Thank you. All right, guys, this one comes from a friend of the show, Charles Guzman, the man who has made the currency for ODP.
You mean the stickers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our legal tender of ODP. It is the Peter James Live stickers.
Yes, because if you are a new listener, you may not be aware that Peter James is the patron saint of Other Dangerous Podcasts.
Yes.
Peter, could you chime in, please?
I'm coming through.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, Peter James, just, Ghost Man. He's our guy. Go see our Ghost Man episode. Go to the merch shop, our threadless merch shop. Get the t-shirt.
Yep. He's all things 90s paranormal.
Yes.
In one man.
Yes, and it's funny, the connection here is Chillingham Castle as well. But anyway, so our friend of the show, Charles, writes, "Hey guys, glad you love the Peter James stickers so much. I'm thinking about doing another batch soon. Anyway, dude, do it. Send them. Let's go.
I need card magnets of that thing.
I need a work uniform. I need to start showing up to work with a button down that just has that on there.
Sick.
Yeah. And like my boss looks at me, I'm like, what, dude? Come on. And he goes, you know what? Sick.
Yeah. Everyone should have that as an undershirt, so at any time you just rip that open and be like, you know what's up.
Yeah. He just passes me a note. I open it. It's the S.
Yep.
All right. So I live in Reno, Nevada. Excuse me. I lived in Reno, Nevada twice in my life. The second time I lived there was 2012 to 2013. I had an apartment on the far west side of town. It was off the old Highway 50, but everyone knows it as 4th Street. One night, I went out to our local bar on my own as my roommate didn't feel up to it. And those nights are the nights, man. Those I don't feel up to it, and you get like someone goes alone. There's always something weird that happens those nights.
Yeah, it's almost like it's meant to be just you.
Yeah, like there's intuition on the other end,
Mm-hmm.
When I was stuck driving home, totally fine, not drunk. All right, Charles.
It's all right, buddy. This is the drinking podcast.
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't be like that. Don't do that to us. So anyway, when I was driving home, totally fine, not drunk, I was struck by how dark the winter night was. The old trees along 4th Street felt like giant arms reaching towards the sky. They were only illuminated by the moonlight, as there's no street lights that far out of town. All right, getting
the mood going.
Getting the mood, setting the scene here.
A little Sleepy Hollow action.
Right. I turned onto my street and proceeded to drive up the hill on the long road that eventually turned into a small suburb. As I got closer to my apartment, I slowed to make a right turn when I noticed a tall man walking on the sidewalk. Already gross. It's already gross.
Yep.
He was dressed in all black, but not warm enough for the cold winter night. As I slowed down to turn, in one fluid motion, he turned and reached for my passenger door handle. I immediately hit the gas and took off. Ew. Ew. The only problem was my apartment parking lot was about 100 feet from where he stood, and I knew he could see me turn into my parking lot. I also drove a car that was very noticeable. Oh, I wonder what it looks like. We gotta ask. I kept going up the street.
He drives the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
That's funny. I was thinking maybe like I don't know, like with like the lights underneath it, like the Fast and the Furious style car.
And it plays Darude Sandstorm the whole time. If it flashes to the beat.
Yeah, exactly. Charles knows what he's doing. But yeah, that is so. I read that line at work, and like when I was on a break, and like I was around people, and I was like, I still even got that like, oh
yeah, it's
no.
gross.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no. So yeah, he this thing was close enough to see him pull into his parking lot. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
So I also drove a car that was very noticeable. I kept going up the street another 2 blocks before I had to turn around. I see the guy on the sidewalk, I didn't see the guy on the sidewalk, so I felt it was safe, and I parked the car. I went inside and proceeded to lock all doors and windows. It was probably one of the freakiest things to happen to me in that old apartment, and I'm glad I left shortly after. Charles, man, with a banger.
Oof.
Charles dropping bangers.
Yeah, so when Ken sent that to me, he's like, "Oh, there's a story." I was like, "Oh, awesome!" He sent it over to me. My first reaction was like, "I would have run that motherfucker over."
Yeah,
backed up and ran over him again a couple times.
Like you, without even him reaching, you would have did it. You just see him, you would have just gunned it over him.
Yeah, I'm always looking for people that like I could just run over, and I'm like, no one's gonna see this one. I mean, I'm up in the I'm probably up in the high 20s at this point.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No. If someone reached for my car, I would throw it in reverse, gun it, and then right over the guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I
claim it was self-defense.
I'd be like, that's a monster. That's what I would have thought. I'd be like,
yeah, no, because honestly, that's either like a personification of death, the Hat Man, or Nyarlathotep, and I don't want any of those. So
Slenderman
could be Slenderman.
Could have been Slenderman. You know,
could have been.
We don't know. We don't know. Charles, he gave us his best description. We don't know.
Yep. It's also got kind of like Freddy Krueger vibes. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like the reaching when he would he stretched his arms in that one scene. I don't know. I just thought of that for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird. But the immediate reach for the door, that oof.
And then like that.
You can imagine your chills. You're like, ah. I didn't say chills. You can imagine your goosebumps.
That was close.
Yeah. Fuck. You can imagine your goosebumps, and like you're like, my parking lot's right there. He's gonna see me.
Yeah,
I would have done the same maneuver, man.
Yeah,
block everything up.
Thing to do.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. We now know Charles is a senseful man, a man of sense, and I respect it.
Fantastic, good story. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Charles. Send more money our way with the. We trade them for goods. It's like, hey. You have that one collectible I want? I'm going to need 5 of those Peter James Live stickers. I need 5 of those for this. Send it back and forth. Hey, you going to eat the rest of that sandwich over there? Give me half a sticker.
Perfect. Yeah, they accept it everywhere, from what I understand.
Oh, okay. Okay.
From what I understand, you just throw that down.
I haven't tried yet.
Yeah.
I did try it, Sal's Italian Deli. I got the hook up there with that. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to send it over to Jay for another Haunted Headline.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Well, it looks like we're spending a little more time in the UK tonight because there's a crisis in the UK right now. Have you heard about this?
I've only heard whispers.
The UK is, quote, running out of ghosts.
You hate to see it, man.
Well, according to the Daily Star, Britain is facing a ghost shortage as aging spirits are passing over to the, quote, other side, according to a leading paranormal expert. Dr. Paul Lee believes that the UK's spectral heritage is in serious decline as many ghosts have become dormant or have moved on. The paranormal researcher and author shared, quote, since January 2020, I've been contacting all the reportedly haunted locations on my app and asking if the residents, owners, or staff have experienced any unexplained activity. He commented, so far, I have had almost 800 replies and even some supposedly highly haunted places like Conisbrough Castle in South Yorkshire, the Eddington Park Hotel in Stratford, said to be one of the most haunted hotels in the UK, and Fortnum and Mason in Piccadilly, say they haven't experienced anything in the last few years. Dr. Lee added in the 2020 chat with the Daily Star, but it does seem as though many ghosts are either dormant or have faded away or moved on. He suggested it could be that a spirit had a natural source of energy to begin with, which has dwindled away over time, leaving them without the reserves to manifest anymore. However, Dr. Lee, who hails from Fairstead, Norfolk, and holds a PhD in nuclear physics, offered yeah, man, he's not fucking around. This is British Egon Spengler.
Yeah.
He offered a glimmer of hope, stating, it may be that ghosts can be recharged. He concluded, you sometimes hear stories of ghosts suddenly appearing again after many years' absence. So, according to them, this could be an unforeseen side of Brexit. I'm not getting into that. That's like British politics. Or have the general vibe of despair even started to affect the spiritual world?
I can go with that one.
So, yeah. So according to this article here, ghosts are on the decline.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it could be a number of things. One, the British division of Ghostbusters, they're just, they're on a tear. They're on a tear out there. They're just getting them, capturing them.
Maybe.
The containment unit is in business. It could be also, we've said here before, they're not making stuff out of the same material anymore.
Okay.
Maybe they renovated and they're using that, carbon, composite wood and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, limestone or other kind of stones that may retain energy. Yeah, limestone. They're not making limestone couches in their houses anymore. Or it could just be the world is so fucked up right now. You're like, I don't know if that's...
No one's just noticing, whatever.
Yeah.
The ghost it's like, yeah, I can't afford my groceries. Fuck off.
Yeah. Are you paying rent, bitch?
Yeah.
Spooky bitch, you paying?
Yeah, or in Britain, they'd be like, are you taking a piss?
Yeah,
and then you're just...
you taking the piss?
Jesus Christ.
You gotta do it.
Yeah, so, hey, there might be something to that. Hey, maybe ghosts have, an initial charge to them, and they need to, this kind of... this is goofy as shit, but it also kind of does fall in line with a lot of the theories, like the stone tape theory.
Right.
Where... the charged, the stones are somehow charged with this, paranormal energy. So, I don't know. There might be something to it. I mean, England is kind of boring, so maybe they just need to figure it the fuck out. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, put up that painting, the painting of the new king over there,
That might King Charles portrait,
or
the Vigo portrait,
the Vigo the Carpathian royalty portrait.
Charles the Carpathian.
Yeah, fucking lunatic.
It's terrible.
It's why that's fucking nuts. Put it up in every house. Guarantee something happens.
Yeah, people vomit.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I try to fix it.
You just fill the background with the S's.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
I do the old classic mustache and buck teeth.
Yeah, it would be terrible. We would fuck that thing up.
Yeah.
Go to town on it with some Sharpies.
Yeah, all black too. No color, just black.
No, nothing.
With a little air bubble. It's just like, I'm a cheeky boy. Something like that.
Or it's Tuesday, isn't it?
It's Tuesday, ain't it? Your schools.
Oh man, I'm already tired of it, and we didn't get to the main story.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's plenty more of that to come, buddy.
Oh, I know. Well, I guess it's time we
mosey on
over to Chillingham.
Mm-hmm.
The home of the torturers, Ken.
Dude.
Quite possibly the most haunted castle in the world.
Well, when your courtyard is filled with what they call hanging trees, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that ought to do something.
According to
It's said Chillingham is the epitome of evil.
Robeson.
Yeah, fucking. Well, the one documentary I was watching on it was like the tour guide from probably like 2001.
Okay.
Just some like chunk. This guy was just some like fucking chunk lump kind of guy, just like, while I live here in the house, and and he's like taking it for like just the driest, most boring guy. And then you got another guy, the other guy, the historian from fucking Most Haunted, trying to like, well, let's go for a walk then. He's like, and he's like, well, the other guy's like, well, let's lock them inside then. You're like, dude,
you're in for a
shut
lot
up.
more of this, folks.
Yeah.
It's just going to be this. Well, like we said at the top, this was one of those ones where it's like, I guess if you're in England, this is like one of the huge ones, and it still is over here, but like, I hadn't heard of it before. And then, we've mentioned this a million times before on the show. Like, when we first started hanging out, it was like we all bonded over scariest places in the world, or on Earth. What was the name of that show?
Yeah, scariest place on Earth. Yeah.
Chills run down your spine. You break into a cold sweat. Your heart begins to pound. You are afraid. Tonight on Scariest Places on Earth.
From the Fox Family Channel or whatever the hell it was. With Zelda Rubinstein and
Linda Blair,
who
was a smoke bomb.
Yeah, she was.
By the way.
I'm more of a Zelda guy myself now.
When you finish, you're like, this house, no, these balls are clear.
Something like that. I regret saying that already.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
But they had the episode with it, and
thank you, Jesus.
Ooh, you're welcome. Reef charge.
Spit in my mouth. Jeez.
All right.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, you can't serve those up and expect me not to spike them, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. They're an alley-oop. You got to go for it.
I know. It's true. It's low-hanging fruit. You got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I remember watching that, and it was like, wow, this is like the quintessential haunted castle, haunted English castle. I have the whole pedigree, right? It had all these great stories. They lead you in there. There's some woman in like, period dress. They bring, they have like the family that they bring in there, and they're all doing
the classic, like, oh, you've made it to the main chamber.
Hello, welcome to Chillingham Castle. Please come in.
They're doing that whole like dry thing, and you got fucking spooky Gordon Ramsay there.
Yeah, he's over there. He's like, don't be here after dark.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, man.
Don't laugh.
I wouldn't laugh. It is real.
Don't laugh. That his like don't laugh is the you burn the risotto. That's like, you know what I mean?
Right. Don't laugh is you fucking donkey.
Yeah. Yeah, and his
comes over with 2 pieces of bread, tells her she's an idiot sandwich.
Yeah. He has like the don't laugh, and then like the, you will be. Those are his like catchphrases.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, folks, I'm sure we'll probably drop in a clip somewhere.
They'll be around. Yeah,
you'll hear it. So Chillingham, let's give a little history here, just a little, because we got to know what we're talking about here. This is quite the structure, man. This is located in the village of Chillingham in the northern part of Northumberland, England. And this was the seat of the Grey and Bennett families in the 15th century until the 1980s, and is now owned by Sir Edward Humphrey Tyrrell Wakefield. This guy's amazing. He's in all the documentaries.
Yep.
He's awesome. And they also have an enclosed park around the castle grounds, and they have their own cattle called Chillingham cattle. It's their own breed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if this is like some rats on the wall stuff, you know what they were doing to the cattle.
Yeah,
or something.
Giving me a panic attack is what they were
Seriously.
doing.
So this castle was originally a monastery in the late 12th century. So right off the bat, disgusting. Like, I just think monastery. I think weird monks doing weird shit with weird people. So that sets up the haunting for me right there, because I don't trust their ilk.
Yeah. The monk, they were I just always get a feeling that, like, they're like, oh, we take the vow and like do this. We're like more devout priests and men of the cloth. In reality, I'm always just like, they sent those guys because they were like the weird ones.
There's just a bunch of weird dudes like locked in a building together. It's just weird. You know how that turns out now.
Yeah, it's like when GameStop closes their doors, the employees at GameStop.
Yeah, all monasteries in the 12th century definitely had a GameStop vibe for sure. Because when you get there, you bring a guy there, his trade-in value is not nearly the amount of what the original value was. As soon as you open it, it's like it's 80% less. So in 1298, King Edward I stayed at the castle on his way to Scotland to battle a Scottish army led by William Wallace.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Edward I. This is Edward the Longshanks, also known as the Hammer of the Scots.
Yeah, sickest name ever.
It's amazing. And by the way, we'll get into it a little bit later, but this guy was way cooler than they showed him in the movie. Way fucking cool.
Yeah, and William Wallace was way less cool than he was.
He also committed like war crimes and shit. That's what they actually brought him up on. It wasn't just because he was in love in the forest.
Yeah. He was like they made him out to be like the Robin Hood, like the more violent Robin Hood.
Yeah, but not even close. This isn't the William Wallace podcast. We'll maybe another day.
I always tell that story when me and Chris were at Epcot in Disney World.
Yeah.
And we went to the UK and there was a guy he was Scottish. And we were all drunk, and we were getting like more beer, and we were like Scotland, William Wallace, Braveheart, and he's like, well, actually, and he killed our vibe. And we're like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
We're like, William Wallace is Mel Gibson. Shut up.
Sure he is. So of note, there's a glazed window in a frame that was specifically installed for the king and was a rarity in such buildings at the time. So when you're a king, you make people put like windows in stone buildings. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
Now, what makes this important? It is sick. I mean, it's you're the king, you get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So what's important about this place is that the castle was this strategically important location during the medieval times, and it's right on the border of England and Scotland. So this place saw lots of conflicts. Yes,
it was like built to keep Scotland out, right?
Yes, it's right on the border. It was a staging post for English armies that were gonna getting ready there, and they would head into Scotland. It was repeatedly attacked and besieged by Scottish armies and raiding parties that were headed south. So, there's a lot of shit happening here. A lot of history, a lot of bloody history. And the site contained a moat, and in some areas the fortifications are 12 feet thick. This place is, big piece of stone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love the fact that they were only approved to do one tower at first, and then it slowly started.
Right. It originally started as one big tower, and then they just added all these things. I'm not going to go through all of it. It's a literally exhaustive history, but I just want to give folks an idea of what we're talking about here. Over the ages, it was this castle. They added onto it over the years, and then after all those wars ended. It kind of just fell into it's just kind of like a house now. And in the 18th and 19th century, the turned into this big, beautiful English kind of garden castle with all these, wandering mazes and all that nice stuff,
all the fancy cuteness that you want out of a castle.
Yep. The Second World War was used as an army barracks.
Sick.
Yep. And then, after the war, the castle kind of fell into disrepair, and it was kind of sat for a long time. It had a huge estate, was broken up over time, and then we're going to cut to 1982 when the castle was bought by the previously mentioned Sir Humphrey Wakefield. And his wife is also descended of another family that used to own the place too. So it's both sides were very interested in bringing this place back.
Yeah.
And they set about restoring the castle and making it back to its former glory. Just real quick, this has been featured in a ton of movies. It was in The Dark Knight. Parts of Wayne Manor were shot inside of this building. It's a nice old English castle.
Rumor has it, in certain towers, you can still hear the echoes of "Where's Rachel?"
Yeah.
And swear to me,
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Angry Christian Bale reverberates through a lot of places on this earth.
Yep.
When you're that angry and that whatever, creates problems or whatever.
When you do that to your voice, it's got staying power.
Yeah. So, mentioning those current owners, as of 2020, sections of the castle are now open to the public, including late night ghost tours. And there's 8 apartments within the castle, and its outbuildings are available for rentals. So you go there, you get the whole experience.
That'd be sick.
Um,
Having like a nice
so
like
this,
family reunion.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So you guys came here to hear about the ghosts,
Use
right?
guys.
I mean,
Use guys did, yeah.
Use guys, you're here for the ghosts, and boy, do they have a few.
Not this sissy history bullshit, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
History jagoffs.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I mean, there is just a list, and they really it's like almost every room.
Yeah.
And I went through a few different actually more than a few articles. There was a few conflicting things. There's a few things where like, these are ghost stories, so there's not going to be they do their best.
Yeah.
But yeah, known as the home of the torturers, which is interesting. We'll get back to the main point on that, because there's a certain character that they bring up in a few of these documentaries. A gentleman by the name of John Sage, aka John Dragfoot, a soldier turned sadistic torturer from the time of Edward I. Now, you're not going to believe this, Ken. But Mr. John Sage, there is no historical documents.
Oh my God.
About this guy.
I would have never guessed.
And it's kind of funny because in my original researching on some of this, I was like, all right, so it's going to be a lot about this guy. This guy's probably got a whole weird thing about him. Yeah, he didn't exist.
Yeah, and didn't all the ghost stories first emerge from the one dude's wife who was staying there?
Yes, so I was going to get into her.
Okay.
In a moment.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Just on John Sage, real quick. This is a story that's kind of permeated all the stories that we've come to know in the last probably 2 decades or so. But no one really knows where it came from. Just one day they were just like, oh yeah, there's this guy who's from King Edward's time, and he chopped up a bunch of kids, and then he was in charge of doing all the torturing. There's actually there was no systematic torture done here, and those quote unquote hanging trees. Nope, no one was hung on those trees.
Yeah.
So it looks like what they were trying to do is turn it into a huge
tourist attraction.
And there's tourist attraction, and there are some legitimate things in this castle. I don't want to say that this is all nonsense, but the whole torturing thing is just not. It's just not true, and it sounds like they were kind of almost trying to make it into an English Vlad the Impaler kind of situation.
Right, Phil M. Pews.
Yeah, so
put me in the seats.
But there's plenty of great things about this story, and it's like, all right. So I don't know why they went so full bore into the bullshit.
Maybe the names were changed to protect the innocent.
I mean, it's possible. I don't have Robert Stack around to figure it out, but yeah. So you had mentioned, a few minutes ago about the American-born Countess Leonora Tankerville, and she married one of the earls of the castle there, and she began documenting the spectral sightings as early as 1895, which is interesting. And she, over the time, filled an entire book of all these, she would go around to, folks that work there or people in the surrounding areas, and she filled an entire book of these, encounters that people have had. She would, talk to the old housekeeper, she said, and that she had no idea that there'd be so many apparitions living under this one room. And the first one that she documented was the ghost of this old woman, believed to be a victim of poisoning or possibly even the plague, who frequently appeared begging for water, which is really gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one actually, we'll go back to it, but that one is actually one that gets encountered quite often. And she's got this whole ghost guide that was written. It got published in her day. It's kind of weird because it's addressed to some visitors. Basically, they think that she wrote it to have as almost like a visitor book. Like if you came and stayed, you would pick the book up and be like, oh, what goes on here?
Yeah.
And it would show you, oh, in this room is, this has been encountered, and in this room this has been encountered.
If you stop by the gift shop, there is a book for purchase.
Yeah. Also, kind of interesting. Before she moved into the home, she had a dream that she was walking up to this like estate-looking castle, and she was like, "Okay, crazy dream." And then fast forward 15 years, when she first arrived there, she was like, "I've been here already,"
Mm.
and it would looked exactly like
Wayne Manor. I mean, Chillingham. Yes.
Yep. So, kind of an interesting thing behind that. And she was also good friends with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock. Yeah, he praised her. Well, he also praised those fake fairy pictures. And
I mean, you know,
he was friends with Houdini, but then
yeah.
But then their relationship broke down because Houdini thought he was a moron.
Yeah, Houdini just kept going like, "Hey, you know what the word fake means, right?"
Right.
Hoax.
Like he showed him, there's like this famous thing where he showed him like this, he did this trick, and like Conan Doyle was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." He's like, "Look, this is a trick." Telling, he's like, no, you have real supernatural powers. He's like, no, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
I just showed you a trick. You can't explain it. That's why it's a trick. He's like, no, you have supernatural powers, and apparently that's what ended their relationship.
Yeah, he's like
crazy.
He's like, there's no way that you bit into that shilling, and spit the piece back over.
No,
and
there's
not
no way.
you. He's like, you are the David Blaine / Chris Angel mind freak of our day.
Exactly. And then there was another anecdote where Houdini or Conan Doyle said, well, I have someone that, he's, tip top. This guy is going to prove it for once and for all. And it was some kind of, seance kind of guy or whatever.
A spiritualist.
And so Houdini comes over, they do like their seance, and he says, "Oh, I'm contacting your dead mother." And, apparently he produced some kind of spirit writing. And it was like something, "I love you, my son, something. And then there's like a cross at the end, and "God bless you." And he became like unbelievably infumed because, number one, Houdini's mother didn't speak English, let alone write it. And number two, she was Jewish.
Yeah.
So why would she have a cross? So that with the other incident ended their relationship. So Arthur Conan Doyle, he also stole the whole Sherlock Holmes character from Edgar Allan Poe.
Right.
But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So this guy...
Not our boy, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
No, not my boy. Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Anyway, where was I going?
We were talking about the gift shop. And
right.
First, before we get into it, because we've been on a tear here of decimating Mount Rushmores.
Yeah.
We're not doing that here.
No. There's some great stuff.
Yeah, we're just getting this out of the way to get to the stuff we like.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's just want to throw that out there because
no. Hey, we're not intending to tear down some of our Mount Rushmores because I mean,
the last two were cases we actually really liked.
I mean, the first, dude, Jesus Christ, I just saw it at the back of my corner of my vision. The fucking guy again,
bro. I've been seeing something moving this whole fucking time. I've been staring.
There's nobody down here.
I'm not even joking.
Dude, I got the chill so
I've been
bad.
seeing, Jay, I didn't want to tell you. I've been seeing shadows. And I was already said in my head that I'm going to review this footage. I swear to God.
Holy shit. Yeah. Dude, I have the chills
look at me.
So bad right now.
I swear to God, I was already thinking all of this. I'm not even joking with you. I'm going to review it. I have the footage. This is saved.
All right, so did we talk about this on the podcast before?
Yeah, we've talked about it. I think. All right,
so if you're a new listener or whatever, so my house is over 100 years old, not too old, but 101 years old, and not too long ago, I had a weird experience with. I saw just for an instant an older-looking, dressed in overalls guy go up the stairs for like a split second, and I was just sitting here talking to Ken, and out of the corner of my eye, I just saw like a person like move, and then got the worst case of chills. Oh, that was rough.
And before that happened, I had been seeing like globulous shapes because his doorway, because we're doing this via Zoom right now.
Yeah, it's behind me.
Yeah, I've been noticing it, and I literally in my head was like the overalls guy, and I was sitting there. I even had the thought in my head. I was like, you know what? I should go back and look at all of our videos.
You should. And
actually. I was thinking that dude,
wild.
I swear to God, I was feeling that the whole time because I'm trying to like keep focus on you,
Yeah.
But then when you get on like the bigger roles of talking, I keep looking back there. I'm gonna review it. We're gonna have We might have
Hey,
some.
maybe we have something. Oh, dude, that was nuts.
You know what's funny? And it was right after the point of talking about how we're not trying to tear down
Right.
something for once. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Look, we talk about spooky shit, so you get in the mood sometimes. So you're like, oh, sometimes you scare yourself a little bit. But when I was coming down the stairs to start recording, I was like, ooh, it feels weird down here.
Okay.
Yep. Son of a bitch. Okay.
Yes.
Talk about Chillingham.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was super weird. Like, saw it in the room this time. Like, in this room. Like, I saw it there.
Yeah.
Over where the Halloween stuff is. I saw it, like, by that door.
By where I see it?
Yeah. Like, right there. That was fucked up.
Nice.
Ugh.
I've been seeing weird stuff over there. I don't know. And I'm usually never like focused or fixated on that area.
Yeah.
I'll look over every once in a while, or I'll see the kids or Christina.
Yeah.
And
I hear them coming down the stairs, so I know when someone's coming.
Right.
But that was, that was
I've been really weirdly fixated over there this whole time. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can we do our podcast now, dude?
Yeah. Overalls guy.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Where were we?
You were saying no, I like, and then that happened.
Yeah. Okay. So, no, I definitely like this one. This one's got a lot of great stuff, but I just wanted to get out of the way all of the torturer stuff because that's complete fiction. So,
right.
So, just a little last little word on Countess Lenora. She after her husband's death in 1931, she abandoned Chillingham, and that's what left it vacant for 50 years until it was purchased by the present owner, Sir Humphrey Wakefield. And that's interesting. You have this weird haunted building sitting there unoccupied for 50 years.
Right.
And I've heard some weird things about that. You hear about it's all conjecture, but they say when buildings like that sit unoccupied for so long, it kind of like it stews, or like it like percolates, you know what I mean? Like the energy's in there. And you know what that's like. You go into a place that's been abandoned for a long time. I mean, we both have how many experiences of going to places like that.
Yeah.
And then it stews, and then people come back into the situation. It's just it's weird.
Now the breathers are back in the mix.
Yeah, exactly. And then the ghostly trio comes out, and then everyone has a good time.
Well, not everyone.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get to the good stuff, huh? Let's get to the by all accounts, these are the entities that are inhabiting good old Chillingham.
Yeah.
Now, according to an experts,
yeah, a ghost expert,
they say that there's about 50 ghosts that inhabit this castle, and most are from the medieval period.
Right.
Which is interesting. First up, and this one, all of these are legit, like they're all good ghost stories on their own. One of these would be enough for any American household and to be like, fuck, I'm not going in there. So first up we have the chapel, right? And they show this room, very, it's one of these rooms that's like it's like part this century, part that century, and like the middle piece was put together, and and now we have this room. So apparently there's a ghost of a 9-year-old girl, possibly a Scottish prisoner from the era of William Wallace and Edward I, where they kept a lot of Scottish prisoners there.
Right.
Her bones were found under the floor.
Yeah.
And this is where she was, quote, buried. Now, when they say buried, she wasn't given a Christian burial. When they killed these prisoners or whatever happened, they just threw them under the floorboards. So her scattered bones were under there. And even though this is the chapel now, it wasn't when this happened. So she was, just thrown into unconsecrated ground. So if you believe in that kind of thing, because she was buried very unceremoniously in this unconsecrated ground, this is what led to this this restless spirit of hers.
Yeah, and then a chapel moved and put on top of her.
Yes, which is almost even like another layer of like disrespect. It's like, well, maybe you should have checked. Was there anyone buried under here? But so she's encountered from time to time. Then also apparently there's the sound of knocks inside this chapel, and then also whispers have also been heard in this in this chapel. And that's one room.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
This next one, I really this one got me good. So there's the stories of the Radiant Boy.
Yeah.
Now this is great. Now this is one of these ones where you hear these cries, these cries of during the middle of the night, almost like reminded me of I'm cold.
I'm cold.
He was also blue.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good call.
So, and this is a boy who would appear in blue clothing. And there's an interesting kind of story that goes around this. He was encountered for centuries, and one night someone was staying in the castle, and this blue orb of light moved over to this section of the wall, right? And it kept doing it for like night after night. So the owner was like, "Well, let's see what's here." So they broke into the wall when they were doing renovations, and they found the bones of a child along with fragments of blue fabric walled up in the castle.
Yeesh.
Yeah. The bones were given a proper burial, and the blue boy was no longer seen or heard from. However, in that room, people do still encounter floating blue glowing orbs. Not in their pictures. Apparently this blue orb of light comes out,
or like an
arcing,
like an electrical arcing.
That's another thing that occurs in the room. Apparently, there's an electrical arcing that occurs around the door of this room, the pink bedroom. And why this is also very strange is there is no electric in this room at all.
Dude, that when I first moved in here, I was having like weird arcs of electricity at the back door.
Yeah.
And there's no electricity over there. It was like at the bottom.
Yeah.
I would like freak out. And then it would happen when storms were coming. So I was like, anytime there was a storm, I was like, Britt, get away from that door. I don't know what the fuck it is. And then she finally saw it one time. I was like, what the hell was that?
It's super interesting, that kind of stuff, because actually unrelated to this article or this topic, I want to say last week someone got a really good video of ball lightning, which is very rare. Did you see it?
No, but a guy Addison, who I play Helldivers with, who's friends with my boy Rob, he had some really good ball, and he was telling me about it. I think he actually showed me. I was so wasted at Rob's 40th surprise party, but he ended up, I think, breaking it out. But he submitted it to another podcast, and that they posted it. Yeah, so it might have been the same video. Okay, but I'll get it off, and we'll have it too.
It was by the train. It was by train tracks, and it literally just floats across the train. It's so weird, and it's because they talk about it as like, they're like, oh, well, it's probably ball lightning. They use it as an explanation for paranormal things all the time.
Yeah, it's
like yeah, but I've never seen fucking ball lightning. It's like, so what? So it was cool to see it because you never see it.
Yeah, no, you don't.
It was it was very paranormal looking, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, right? Like, I feel like I'm doing my job right now at work, like, because I'm like fixated on your door.
Just let the camera do the job. Check it out later.
It's what I do for a living. So I'm like sitting here, and you're like the podcast I listen to at work right now. So I'm like yeah. Okay.
I gotcha. All right, so we have two things going on. That's all good. So then we have the Great Hall. That's that large-looking Harry Potter room with the long table with all the all the entertainings going on, the big roaring fires with the fireplace, all that.
Yeah.
And this is home to the ghost of Mary Barclay, a noblewoman who died in 1719, and she's experienced as the smell of roses and a draft of cold air.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. You'd be lucky to encounter any of these, apparently.
Yeah, right.
That's classic, right? That's classic, classic ghost stuff. She's also referred to as the Gray Lady.
Yeah. So this place is like your
quintessential.
Yeah, it's your Disney World of haunting. It's like, it's got all the things. Buzz Lightyear's over there.
Yep.
The Marvel characters are over there. There's ball lightning.
Oh yeah, you never know what's going to happen over there.
No.
So apparently, in the 16th century, the castle was cursed by a Spanish witch.
Yeah, the Spanish witch.
Interesting. There's not too much about it, but she has this fun aspect for the haunting. If you take something from the castle, you'll be cursed. Many people have mailed the items back with a letter of apology to the ghost / witch.
Yeah.
Ghost witch.
The ghost witch.
Yeah, that's a fucking band name right there.
Yeah, but it sounds kind of like when you put it together like that, it kind of sounds
Yeah.
like a fluffer nutter like sandwich, you know?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like, oh, it's the Ghost Witch. Come talk
Yeah, but
to
if you're
me.
like Ghost Witch,
You're
or like Ghost Egg.
Witch. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, she's not fucking around.
No.
It's because apparently people have taken the stuff from there, have encountered all sorts of tragedies,
Right.
illness, death, car accidents, divorces, financial ruin, and
Spontaneous Nickelback playing on your radio.
ugh, that's the worst one of them all.
Yeah. Well, I've never heard anyone refer to a curse as a good curse.
That's true.
And that's what the one tour guide referred to it as. It's a good curse for the castle. Usually you would say like a spell, you know?
Well, I heard he never made it as a wise man, and he couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. So
Sure couldn't.
Ew. I'm upset at myself for that one.
It's all right. Prison gates won't open up for you, buddy. It's okay. But before we move on, look at this photograph. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy.
Now that the nickel break is over,
let's get on to the King Edward I room. As mentioned previously in the episode, King Edward stayed there before his battle with William Wallace at the Battle of Falkirk. This is Edward the Longshanks, the Hammer of the Scots. This guy, unbelievable. I went down a rabbit hole looking into this guy before I finished. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Way cooler than the guy in the movie.
Yeah,
and Longshanks just means he was tall.
Yeah. Well, Hammer of the Scots and Longshanks, you'd be like,
yeah.
What kind of hammer are we talking about here?
Hey, we all know what happened.
What hammer are we dealing with in this circumstance, you know?
Yeah. He was 6'2". Back in the day, that's like 6'8".
Hacking.
Yeah, probably. He took the kingship.
Yeah. Right.
So in the King Edward room with the fun window, famously there's the chandelier that recently went viral on TikTok with the swinging video of the chandelier. I don't know if you've seen it. Pretty interesting. It starts swinging violently out of nowhere and then stops and then starts swinging violently again. It's interesting. I mean, anything could be faked, but I liked it.
Yeah.
It went around. My kids even do that one. I was down here researching. I was like, oh, my kids watch Sam and Colby. I think their names are.
You've told me. I've seen them once or twice.
It's not good.
Yeah, I was at a 6-year-old's birthday, my wife's nephew's birthday, and before we were leaving, they all had on like the new Ghost videos.
Yeah,
and I was like, all right, kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my Ghost videos, but
yep. No, I try to lead them down. I'm like, they're like, oh, what's some good ones? I'm like, well, I don't think you're ready for the real good ones, and you might not be into the real good ones. I'm like, check out Slap Tam. He's got some good ones from time to time.
Yeah, he's got but those videos are so long, and it's a lot.
That's what they want.
Yeah,
that's what they want. They want to be entertained with the clips forever.
Forever. Anytime I just go right to fucking Gettysburg in the trees. That's it.
It's a great one.
It's the one.
It's the one. It's that one and the ghost in Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Yeah, the picture.
Those are, I think those are my two. Those are my two, I think. I'd have to think of the other one. The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. That's another good one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan also of the naval, like the whole crew photo.
Ah, yes.
And behind the one guy is the one guy's face who was the dude they lost at sea. That's another one that's up there for me.
Yep. Don't they mention that in JK Cinema?
Stay tuned for our JK Cinema.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I watched them all today.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, back to England. Also in King Edward I's room, the sounds of angry arguing from outside the door can be heard. I hate that.
Dude, we had that, me and Jovi, one of our first jump scares. Remember, he said when I didn't want to go to the bar that night. I wasn't feeling up to it. He was closing by himself. He's like, dude, can you just come in this bar we worked at? Had multiple ghost stories. And yeah, we were just there cleaning up. We were doing a last check, make sure everything's locked from the kitchen that we already did a pass-through. Everything was locked. This woman was angry, violently angry, arguing about something. It started off like just like a regular talk, kind of arguing. And I got real angry, and I was like, let's go. He's like, no. He's like, can I lock you in here? I have the keys, the alarm code. You'll be locked in here.
Yeah.
And then we found out that one of the old owners' wives died, fell and broke her neck.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah.
No, those ones always go. You know what that reminds me of? Remember we went to Yardley that one night? Remember we all went to
Yeah.
were you there?
Yeah. Well, there was the Pineville Tavern, the Yardley Inn,
Yes.
and those are the ones out there that we used to clean, and Isaac Newton's on
It was the Yardley Inn.
Yeah.
And I remember we went in there and it was almost like there had just been like a fight or a huge brawl. That's what the energy in that place was like. I was like, "Oh, this is weird."
Yeah.
Never felt anything like that before.
Yeah, I think that night that you were there, that was the night that me and Murdoch went into the basement to prep because the next day we were going to Byberry.
Well, it was me, you, Chris, and Eddie.
And Eric, because maybe it was one of the nights Chris was working, not Eric.
Eric was not there.
Okay, then he was
telling me
working.
that Eric.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And you know what? My mistake. The lady didn't fall and break her neck. That was another worker. The lady had a heart attack in the back. That's what it was.
Wow. So a breakneck and a heart attack in one place.
There was two
Sick.
different deaths there, and then another that was like a shooting or a stabbing.
Oof, rough.
Yeah.
All right, so onto the onto the dungeon. And the dungeon boasts the Lady in White. I mentioned her previously. The elderly woman who appeared one night. So there's a servant, this guy who got locked in every night into the pantry. Now that it's kind of like a misnomer for us, but the pantry was where all the family silver was kept. Okay. So he was like an overnight guard for it. And he turns around and apparently there's this woman, a wispy white lady, asking him for a drink of water. And he's startled. He's like, ugh, but he was just like, okay. And then he gets water, turns around, and she was just gone.
Ladies in white in the water, man. What is that?
I don't know. Now, what was interesting about the explanation for this one was why is she so thirsty? So they're thinking it could be two possibilities. She could have been poisoned, because when you get poisoned with certain poisons, you're very thirsty before you die.
Right.
Or she could have been a plague victim, because plague victims, there was an intense thirst that occurred when you had one of the variants of it.
Or maybe she was thrown into the oubliette and died of thirst.
Well, that's what I'm getting to next. You preempted motherfucker twice.
Hey man, I don't have your notes.
I don't know.
Sorry, bro.
There's also this is a little like random one. Apparently there was an injured soldier, the ghost of an injured soldier. And they think he was tortured there and he can't leave, and his wails are heard sometimes. His wails of agony are heard at the bottom of the dungeon. Then what Ken mentioned, the oubliette, which is it's basically just a hole that they throw people into. There's only one way in, one way out. It's just
like
there's a door at the top, 20-foot drop, and they just throw people in there to just starve to death, essentially.
Yeah.
And then the bottom there, and it's still on display to this day, they just leave them there. There's the bones of a 12-year-old girl are in the bottom of there. They don't know the circumstances surrounding her imprisonment or death. They just don't know.
They just know she was 12.
They know she was 12 by her bones. Also in this oubliette, there's hash marks on the wall a prisoner counting their days.
Ugh.
And you can see the marks as it goes on. The marks get weaker and weaker because of them starving to death.
Yeah, the strength is just
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one or two that they couldn't even get to because they were just like, that was me raising my finger for this.
Yeah, that was, I just can't do it today. I'm too hungry.
Yeah.
And
then he ate a 12-year-old girl.
Right,
he was
right,
fine
right.
for a little bit.
So unfortunately, I mentioned about John Sage, just not real. And apparently the castle is trying to shed that story big time. It used to be one of the things that they used for tourists, I guess, but they really are trying not to bring him up anymore because there's really no historical record of him whatsoever. His actions didn't make sense at all. There was one where they said that the war was over, so King Edward I ordered all the prisoners let go. But they said that, oh well, John Sage came up and murdered all these kids with an axe. They're like, yeah, that wouldn't have happened, and certainly not with the king name.
Right. Well, rumor has it that Disney has bought the rights to Chillingham Castle, so they're
oh boy,
phasing out.
Oh no. Yeah, it's gonna be the new haunted something.
Yeah.
Finally, I found this last tidbit a little interesting. There's a connection between Chillingham and the Great Beast 666, Aleister Crowley,
Okay.
or Crowley. I believe it's Crowley is the correct pronunciation.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. We'll get to him eventually. I just every time we come to it, and I'm like, and he comes up on the list, I'm like, I don't want to fucking. Ugh.
Yeah.
We're gonna get hate mail when we do that one too, because so many
Good.
people are like, no, he's there, he's great. Anyway, Aleister Crowley was friends of the Earl George Bennett, who was one of the past owners, and allegedly, because this was the height of this interest in the spiritualism and all the things that Crowley himself was interested in. Magic. Yeah, allegedly, dark rituals were performed in the castle, all over the castle.
Of course.
So
you get a little money, you go no.
Yeah, but. Yeah, allegedly he did visit there quite a few times. So, I can see where they were going with this when they, the article that I was reading that was talking about this connection. They were like, well, there's this demonic, and I just don't want to go into that because.
Just once in my life,
yeah.
I wish I was just like walking by a dark ritual.
Yeah.
So I could just be like, fucking nerds and keep going just to ruin their time,
And we did that.
Yeah, but that was different because we like didn't stop. We were moving. We had to keep
right.
But no, I mean, I want to go by a dark ritual. Me now,
just be like, fuck Eddie.
Not even that. Let them keep going with the ritual. Just be like fucking nerds. Like chuckle at them. Maybe elbow you as we walk by.
Yeah.
And then the rest of their time, they're like, "Well, Astriel, I guess we have to keep going." Like, Don't pay attention, Sackcloth.
Sackcloth. All right.
Yeah, I got some good nerd.
I like it.
Nerd, dark ritual names for these fucks.
Right.
Alabaster, don't listen.
No, no, they're not even that cool. I was just thinking like Kyle and Travis.
Yeah, and Todd. Bill, don't listen to those mean. Stop myself.
Easy.
And I don't want to cause, I keep these ones less editing the better.
Yeah, it. So that's the end of the. This is a lot. For one place, but that's these are the ones that they have consensus on. These are the things that have occurred and continue to occur in old Chillingham. They have certainly leaned into the the most haunted castle title, and the dungeon, as it were, has been like. They've brought like Iron Maidens in there, which aren't even historically real.
Yeah, there's no evidence that an Iron Maiden was ever used. Ever.
No, it was created in the Victorian times.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Like, this museum.
Besides by Johnny Depp's dad in Sleepy Hollow.
Well, that's fact.
Yeah.
It's also a fact that was the last good Tim Burton movie. Fight me. Don't talk to me about Beetlejuice. I don't want to hear nothing.
Oh. But no, they threw back to the ring.
Stop. So that's what we got for here. They they're really going for it now. They've decorated the dungeon. They've got all these cute decorations. You can stay overnight. You can do late night ghost tours. And I get it. This place needs money. These places are, I'm sure this dude is not, he's the aristocracy is not really that big of a thing over there anymore. So,
him being like a Sir Knight or whatever it is isn't really it's driving in the bucks. Out. Yeah, driving in the bucks anymore. Having that title.
Yeah, not
unless
so much.
You're like Anthony Hopkins or Elton John.
Right.
Well, they're not getting it from the surname. They just have.
No, I got you.
They pay for it. They give the money.
Easy.
They give the money to the.
Yeah. So, this place is super interesting. I would love this. I would have to divide this into like my American Mount Rushmore, and then like my either like British or European Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so
this
that's
place
like
is
Paris Catacombs, Chillingham.
Yes.
The real Dracula's castle.
Oh. Can't think right now. Hoska Castle.
Hoska Castle. The tunnels in England. What is it? The
Hellfire Caves?
Not that's Ireland.
That's in Ireland.
No. The old subway. It's the famous ghost of
Are you talking about the ghosts of the underground, like
and there's
the subway ghosts?
Yeah, but I was just reading about it. Yeah, subway ghost.
It's fine. So yeah, I mean, now that we've been back on the topic of chum buckets, I mean, this is ODP canon.
It's in there. I mean, they jokingly say, every brick in the castle's haunted.
Yeah.
Or has a ghost, but
Mhm.
like, there's no way it doesn't. Like, there's no way this place.
No, and you know what I think is great about this is that I like that it has these stories that still endure over the ages. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we came at it from the angle of the 90s sensationalism of having, oh, here's the home of the torturers, and here's
Yeah.
this this whatever his name was, Dragfoot or whatever, and okay, somebody made that up somewhere.
Yeah.
What a terrible name. It could have been called something like Mr. Sharpaxe or like,
Yeah.
bloody, I don't know.
Or
But-
Newsy, Macbethy,
Right.
Ferguson.
But now we still have these stories which are like the quiet stories, which are the
Yeah.
ones that those are the ones that are scary because you sit
Yeah.
there and you contemplate those ones like wait, what did they hear in this
Yeah.
house? And
They
then or
wanted
what's in this
water?
room?
They wanted water? What?
Or like
Water?
wait, the bones are still here? Yeah, they're still under your feet. It's like,
Oh my God.
yeah, exactly. A lot of those, man, or like that Radiant Boy story where it's they see the light and then they dig in the wall and there's children's bones wrapped in blue fabric. It's like, ugh,
Yeah, and you're like, Peter James wasn't even here.
no.
He didn't even tell us. He could have told us. We would have found it.
He didn't make it over there, unfortunately. He was
too busy with the Queen
was-
Mary.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love this one. This is quintessential. I've said it like 50 times now, but quintessential haunted castle. This is like, it has it all. It has all the amenities.
Yeah. Well,
The only thing it's
Go ahead. You got it. The only thing it's
I was gonna say the only thing it's missing is an elemental.
right, and I'm sure it has one. I mean,
Probably.
our boy, what the fuck's his name? What's Spooky Gordon Ramsay's name?
Oh, Robson.
Yeah, Robson. He started. He basically like headed up the Ghost Hunters International.
Yeah.
And he would take him to places, and he'd be like, "There's an elemental in this castle," and he would always
Yeah.
talk about other elementals, and they got a picture of one time.
That was a big 90s thing, wasn't it? Like elementals were like, that was the all the rage back then.
Yeah, and it kind of took the world by storm again in the early 2000s. That's kind of when
Yeah.
I kind of fell into the trap of that, and like
Yeah.
elemental beings like gnomes.
I don't know.
Why did my screen just go out?
I can see it.
I know it's back now.
Oh.
It all went, dude.
Shit's going wild.
Yeah, so another technical difficulty arrived. All right, we're back to it. Dude, this is a brand new monitor. I've had one issue.
Well, the ghosts are like, you wanted us.
Yeah,
You got us.
yeah, they're traveling through your microphone setup into Zoom
Then
through the internet.
And they turned your screen into this really is the portal to hell.
Yeah, right. Right. Wacky stuff going on over here at Other Dangerous Podcast. But you know what? I've been back into the spooky ghost stuff recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been poking the bear myself recently. And we know how that goes when we do that.
Yep. I also just buckled down and did 4 sculptures in 6 days. And when I do that, I think it's the same thing as like when people meditate and like I get more sensitive to it.
Yeah.
I've tested it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Not that I do anything that you do, but no, I'm with you in the fact that, yeah, some shit will stir some stuff up.
It sure will.
I have no clue what that fucking was. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. Technical difficulties.
Because I did this and I got close and I was like, maybe, but no, but it shut the whole screen down for a minute or a
I
second.
don't know. Very weird.
Hmm.
So do we have any closing statements on Chillingham?
Yeah. I love the stone, vast land, green, like area, like you can imagine when it's like raining out there, like, or like when it's like kind of humid and cold,
Oh yeah.
like you just feel like you're walking through ghosts. Like,
Yeah.
I know when you're over there, it's like palpable and like
Oh, I'm sure.
and I love the aesthetic. I love the look of it. And it's for me too, it would be it did it again. It would be a one of my UK Mount Rushmores, and I love the place. And Spooky Gordon Ramsay's the man.
Is he though? I wonder what he's doing right now.
He's probably
He's got an
sick-
OnlyFans.
Oh. Ew. Don't laugh. Don't laugh unless you're going to touch it.
Ew.
Yeah, it's gross.
It is very gross. He's like, "You for $50 a month, I'll mail you some of my ectoplasm.
No.
I've just conjured it."
He's like, I'll send you monthly ghost pictures, and it's just like the reflection in a window of his
Yeah.
pants off.
Yeah.
I think you see his smile, like you see from his
Yeah.
nose down.
Yeah.
He's like smiling.
Yep.
He's Porky Pigging it, so he's wearing a t-shirt but no pants.
Exactly. And he's a menace on eBay because he sells stuff all the time, but he always makes sure that you can see his D&B and
Yeah.
like the reflection of something in the listing photos.
Yeah, it's like this guy's a monster.
He really is. He truly is.
Yeah. Oof. Any closing states on your end, buddy?
I just scared the shit out of myself in my own basement tonight.
Yeah.
Doing this episode, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But no, this one actually gave me the heebie-jeebies before that even happened before, and I was like, man, this is a good one. And then I don't know if it was the story or just whatever, but I was coming down the stairs before, and I was like, it feels weird. I was like, oh, we'll see what happens, and then something happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I scared myself, but I saw it for a second, and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, and I'll get to reviewing, see if we can
Yep.
isolate something here.
And then you could like rewind, like, it was at this time when we noticed there were orbs in the background.
Oh, when you're talking, I do like no, I didn't want to tell Jay at this point.
Right.
But I was thinking I was seeing something in the background.
Right.
I don't know if heebie-jeebies are contagious, but
Right.
we're about to find out.
And then I saw a body hanging.
I see a body swinging from a
Get
rope.
out of here! Crazy bitch.
Yep. Well, that's all I got on the old scary ham castle.
Yeah, old Scary Ham Castle.
But, no, I love this
spectacular
one.
time.
Love this one. Would love to visit this one. I mean, this is one of those ones where it's like it's creepy and you're not even there. And if you like stayed in one of those rooms, I'm like, I'm not sleeping here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm up all night. I was like,
Yeah,
I'll sleep when we leave.
Even the people that visit at the end, like from other shows, like, dude, there's people just walking out there, like all mad. Like, they're just walking all
Yeah.
night. What are they
Yep.
doing?
It's the ghost party. They're going through the portal.
Yeah, they're doing it. They know what they're
Yep.
doing.
Mhm.
But all right, guys. For this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I've been Ken James.
And I've been Jason McKittrick.
As always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.